Very much, everybody. Good morning. Sanbanani, Dumelang, Goeiemorgen, and I only know Konnichiwa in Japanese, so forgive me, Ambassador. Let me just observe the protocol quickly to Bogomose. You are just an absolute legend for the work that you do for Pink Drive. Thank you very much for being here today. To the ward councillor, for those who don't know, I used to be a councillor. I know your challenges. I know how tough it is to be there on the ground. Thank you for your welcome and thank you for being here today. To the Johannesburg Health District Chief Director, Ms. Mogero Morawani, thank you very, very much. You look fabulous. I love your headpiece. To the MXC, what a pleasure it was to meet you today, Ms. Nomantu Nkomoralechoko. Thank you very much for your inspiring words. To my colleague, the Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Joe Pachla, thank you for your inspiring words today and for talking about cancer and the impact it has. And then to the wonderful Ambassador, what a pleasure to meet you today, Ambassador. Your Excellency, thank you for the work that you and your country do to support the people of our country. We are truly grateful. And then to my friend. My friend is Nolene. I met her in 2011 when I was having my first round of cancer treatment. She was working as usual with her stand at the Argus Cycle Tour pre-event, and I walked in there bald-headed, and we got to chatting, and we have been friends ever since. And I am inspired daily by the work that this woman does for our country and for our people, and she is truly one of my heroes. So Nolene, thank you for everything that you do for us. So, thank you to Pink Drive for the invitation to be here today. It is one of my greatest honors to be an ambassador for this incredible organization that changes so many lives and gives so many people a second chance at life through early detection of cancer. World Cancer Day and its theme is a moment for awareness, for reflection, and for honesty. And I'm going to start off with being honest. I know a lot of people don't think politicians are honest. We are. So I'm standing here today not only as a Pink Drive ambassador, and not only as a public representative, but as a cancer survivor. My cancer with journey began with a discovery that was both ordinary and utterly life-altering. I often describe the first lump in my breast, the one my ex-husband found. We're not ex because of that, but he is my ex-husband. It felt a little like a marble under a blanket. And it's almost a simple, childlike analogy to use, but it does capture that moment perfectly. The shock of finding something hard and immovable where only softness should be. It was a small discovery that ended one chapter of my life and began another entirely. The first time I heard the words "you have cancer" was in a room in Groote Schuur in 2011. I was 41 years old. I had no family history of cancer, no obvious risk profile, and every reason to believe I was heading into a healthy, uneventful middle age. I was the one who sent the get well cards, the one who visited sick relatives, and never, not once, did it occur to me that I would be the one sitting in the chair receiving that kind of news. In that moment, the world as I knew it simply fell away. Cancer has a way of cutting through every plan you have ever made. One minute you're thinking about your future, your careers, your ambitions, the life you have imagined for yourself. And the next, you are plunged into a foreign world of treatment plans, medical terminology, and survival rates. It is a profoundly lonely shock, a club you never asked to join, and the beginning of a journey you never expected to take. My diagnosis at that time was stage 1 cancer in my left breast. I did what I was told. I went through treatment. I took tamoxifen for 5 years, which is essentially medically induced menopause. And anyone who's been on tamoxifen knows that this is not a small thing. It comes with hot flushes, joint pain, brain fog, bone deep fatigue, and days where your body never feels like your own. But I enjoyed it. I completed the course, and when it was all over, I allowed myself to believe that that chapter was finally closed. But cancer has a way of humbling you, and about a year and a half after coming off tamoxifen, I found another lump. This time deep and unmistakable in my right breast, and I knew instinctively that something was wrong. In 2018, I was diagnosed for the second time with stage 3 breast cancer. So let that sink in for a moment. To face cancer once is pretty devastating. To do everything right, to comply with every instruction, to enjoy every treatment, and then to be told that you have to go through it all again, and this time with a far tougher diagnosis. It shakes something deep inside you. Surviving cancer changes you. It rewires your instincts. You become hyper-aware of your body in ways you never were before. You listen differently. You notice everything. And every small change can send you spiraling into fear. But getting cancer a second time does something else entirely. It strips away the illusion that control alone is enough. It forces you to confront how fragile survival really is. With both diagnoses, I had no medical aid. I lived, and I still live, in Crawfordnet in the Eastern Cape. Treatment meant long journeys, time away from home, and a full month away to complete radiation sessions. But the hardest part of my journey was not the disease itself, it was navigating the system. In the public healthcare system, cancer treatment often follows a rigid, one-size-fits-all protocol. Dedicated professionals do extraordinary work under immense pressure. But the system itself lacks the agility and individualized care that can make the difference between recurrence and full recovery. When I became a Member of Parliament in 2019, I was required to join a medical aid. For the first time, I had access to a private oncologist. When she reviewed my medical history, she said something that still stops me in my tracks. If you had been with us the first time, you would have received Herceptin. The chances of your cancer returning would have significantly reduced. Now that sentence carries weight because it tells us something uncomfortable but important. Access matters, timing matters, targeted treatment matters, and access should not determine who lives and who doesn't. So another barrier that I encountered was time. When I needed radiation treatment in Gqeberha, good for the Eastern Cape, I was told there was only one machine and a waiting list of 9 months. Any cancer survivor knows that cancer does not wait politely. If radiation is delayed beyond a certain window, its effectiveness is drastically reduced. The opportunity to eradicate stray cancer cells simply disappears. Only through extraordinary effort, and yes, because I have privilege and contacts, was I able to transfer to another hospital and receive treatment in time. But not everybody can do that, and that is the deepest injustice of all. Fighting cancer is hard enough. No one should have to fight a disease on one front and an overstretched system on another. No one's survival should depend on geography, income, or whether they know how to navigate bureaucracy under pressure. Statistically, white women are more likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer, but black women are more likely to die from it, often because of later diagnosis and limited access to timely, quality care. Cancer outcomes should not be a reflection of inequality. The biology of the disease should matter, not the circumstances of the patient. Thank you. And this is why organizations like Pink Drive matter. They exist to bridge the gap between awareness and access, between diagnosis and dignity, between vulnerability and support. Cancer does not only affect the patient, it affects families, caregivers, children, loved ones. Holistic support, the kind that recognizes the full human cost of cancer, changes outcomes. It gives people the strength to keep going when everything else feels overwhelming. My own journey showed me how much we are carried by others. It was my family and friends who helped me continue chasing my dreams, even while undergoing treatment. I'll never forget doing my first interview for Parliament via Skype, just a week after I'd had my bilateral mastectomy. Or doing another interview while deep in the fog of chemotherapy, convinced I had failed. But I didn't fail. I was elected. And 5 years later, I was appointed the Deputy Minister of Electricity and Energy. I'm now 7 years into a 10-year course of tamoxifen, so we're back with the hot flushes and the brain fog and the bone pain and the joints and the no sleeping, the fatigue and the body changes. I live with these daily side effects every day. This is the daily management of a new normal. But I am living my best life. A life full of joy, a life full of love, and a life full of passion. I'm married to a man who loves me exactly as I am, without these, because these are fake. I have friends and family who fill my heart, and I'm doing work I never ever imagined would be possible. And I share this not to suggest that cancer makes you stronger in some sort of romantic sense. It doesn't. Cancer is brutal. It takes, it scars, but it does reveal something important. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something that you are forced to forge, and none of us do it alone. On this World Cancer Day, my message is simple. Let us continue to raise awareness, but let us also ensure that awareness leads to access. Let us continue to screen and educate, but let us also make sure that treatment is timely and equitable. And let us continue supporting options that bridge the gaps where systems fall short. Because survival should never be a matter of luck. I thank you.